All right, guys. I guess we're live. Yeah, I got live stream chat right now. So hit me up for live stream. I'm gonna go over the price data just really quickly. This is my third time covering the price action today alone. So we've pretty much already been over everything. We're just gonna continue going over everything. We get where we left off. BTC, USD, Bitcoin continuing to consolidate. We're always on top of the price action. We're always right on this channel. Alright, lots going on. But okay, we're gonna go on the 1 hour. Zoom out. I'm gonna look at this. I don't have your guys's what you're seeing on the screen is exactly what I'm seeing on the screen, so I don't have your guys's uh questions or anything like that. If you guys are asking me questions right now, just give me a second. Maybe ask the question right now while I'm looking over the price macro charts, and then I will get to your questions if you have any questions. As long as they're about finances, I was in real estate, stocks, whatever, and then draw some trend lines, and then draw like trying to think. Um, but primarily we're focusing on crypto, so that's where my mind has been for a while. So I do know stocks, real estate, all that, but if you have any finance questions in general, I would be the guy to ask. Just give me a second to look at these. So right now I'm just drawing the consolidation pattern that we're in. Nice. So yeah, we got that giant consolidation pattern that we're in right now, and then I also have for you guys necklines, which are these lines right here. Not a lot has changed. We're still consolidating like we were earlier. Let me see if you guys have any questions. Yeah. Ask me a question. Let me know if you have any questions. Alright. Get rid of these trend lines. Yeah, I don't care how basic the question is or whatever. Everybody starts somewhere. And for a lot of people are really new to crypto. Okay, so this is the hourly chart. So we have higher high, higher low, or we have a high, and then we have a lower high. Okay. And let's see the oscillator. Possible. hidden divergence, possibly. I'm gonna be going over divergences. I'll go back to the chart to see if I have any questions. Why is it MACD? That's my question. What's wrong with the MACD? Alright, I'll fix it in a second. Okay, yeah, still no questions. Where's the MACD? Jeez. MACD just looking awful. I'm just gonna delete it and then pull it back up. I'm looking for some bearish, bullish divergence, hidden divergence. There we go. Okay, that's definitely what I see. So, higher high, or we have a high and then we have a lower high. And then, so we have a little bit of, possibly, no, we don't have it that. Alright, let's go to higher time frames. Oh, wait, lower low. So we have a lower low. Or we have a low and then we have a higher low, sorry. And, low and then a higher low. Alright, I'm not seeing a lot of divergence on the oscillators. I'm going to check RSI in a second, but bearish, bullish divergence is a strong indicator. But let's go to the daily, because that's really where I'm concerned with everything, because that's concerned as in like that's where I want it to look, because the daily chart's one of the most macro. And again, if you have questions that you're seeing on what you're seeing on your screen is exactly what I'm seeing on my screen. So I will get to them if in a second if you have the question. So we have a high and then a lower high, and then the oscillator. So it looks like we potentially did have hidden bearish divergence, but it looks like that idea is being negated. Okay, and then higher low. So let me zoom out a little bit. Okay, and then we'll draw a trend line. So you could draw. Let me go. I guess we have to do this. Okay, so I'll just put the trend line there, and then I'll fix it in here. So we would draw like right here, and then there would be a touch point right here, and it's obviously trending downwards as you can see, and higher low. So that would be bullish hidden divergence. So a little bullishness on the chart on the daily. Because everybody wants to know which way is the price action going to break out of the consolidation pattern. Is it going to go up? Is it going to go down? Higher lows, and then on the oscillator on the MACD having a low and then a lower low, bullish divergence. Right? Yeah, bullish hidden divergence. So that's good. That's on the daily. I guess we'll just do all the tech on the daily, because like the weekly is going to be. We can try and do the weekly. Okay, well we can definitely see what's going on with the MACD on weekly, let me just draw that just for absolute certainty. You have this trend line right here. Draw this like this. Obviously, it's trending upwards on the MACD, and then I'll look at RSI in a second. But I'm gonna do this, and then let me see if we have any questions. Is there a zoom in button? Zoom in on the weekly. Okay, so we have an uptrend on the MACD. Then we have a high and a high and a lower high, and then a low, and then a higher low. So uptrend on oscillator, that'll be a high and a higher high, and then a high and a higher low. So we have bearish divergence on the weekly chart. So weekly chart, um, we have hidden bearish divergence on the weekly, and then on the daily we have bullish divergence. I don't remember. Yeah, it should be hidden. Both of them are hidden, and that's just the technical name. All right, before I look at the, okay, I don't see any chat. Okay, so I guess I'll look at the RSI, see what's going on with the RSI. So I'm gonna take the MACD off, pull up the relative strength index, RSI. Alright, then we're gonna go to the weekly's fine, and we can start seeing that obviously, like we were talking about earlier. I'm gonna pull this up just a little bit while I draw this trend line. It doesn't need to be perfect, but you can obviously see we're trending downwards. I tried to draw right here. And then, so we have it's harder to do than the MACD, we'll see. There we go. So we have a high and then a lower high. Like on the weekly, I guess you could say it's bearish divergence. I guess, you know, you kind of have the price action going up, and then you have the RSI going down, but at the same time it is still trending downwards right now, so these are not really diverging against themselves on the weekly. Okay, and then daily chart. Yeah, this is definitely trending down on the RSI. I can draw that right here. You can see clearly we're trending downwards when you have these touch points. You have a high and then a lower high. We're going to zoom in, expand the charts a little bit, and then clearly right here you have a high, and then the same thing, but you have a low, and then a higher low. So low, higher, low. Technically, could be hidden bullish divergence on the daily chart, If you look at this, we have the low, higher low, and then if you look at the oscillator, put this right there. See, we're trending downwards. I'm going to delete this one so you can see it better. But you can clearly see through this trend line touching these 2 points that we're trending downwards. And this idea is kind of negated right here, but that's fine. You could still draw it right here. And while it's shallow, it still is what you would call this is weak. You would call it weak, hidden, bullish divergence. Because this right here is going down, and then this is going up when higher lows. And that's on the daily chart. I'm only doing divergences on the, and anytime I say a divergence, like, and if you don't know what that means, if it's bullish, that means that it's good for the price action, and if it's bearish, that means it's bad for the price action. I guess we can do a 4 hour. What's going on with this price action? See what's going on with the 4 hour. Yeah, we're in this classic consolidation pattern. So okay, so no divergence right there, it looks like. Yeah, we're just doing that out right there. And then this, go right here. And you can draw these as consolidation patterns, that's fine. I see a lot of people do that. So what would that be, if anything? That would be bearish regular divergence. Right? No, that wouldn't be regular bearish divergence. Yeah, it doesn't look like we really have any divergence right there. Alright, now that we got that out of the way, now that we got some divergences out of the way, what I'm going to do, take RSI out of here. Let me see if I have any questions in the chat. Yeah, no questions. If you have any questions, just ask. Like if you want to know like where to buy Bitcoin or why Bitcoin's valuable or whatever your question is. We're gonna go to the daily. I mean, there's not a lot to talk about, and that's what anybody on YouTube is going to tell you as a technical analyst. We're waiting for this breakout right here, this consolidation pattern, and until that changes, well, we can have some fun on the lower time frames, and because I'm streaming, I guess we can do that to try and get an idea of where we're going. I'm not going to go lower than 30 minutes, just because um, the lower the time frame, the more like just ridiculous it is. It's a little bit of a bearish engulfing candlestick on the 30-minute and the recent time frame. I'm going to turn on a bunch of technical indicators. Okay, so we are trending downwards. Look at this price action. So we're trending downwards. Let's check out the volume. And we're going to draw this too. Okay, so we are trending downwards. Clearly see we're trending downwards. But volume is also trending downwards. So this is either indicative of consolidation. So you can see right here, the volume candle, like there's a lot of selling right here, yes, but at the same time there's not a lot of action, like there's not a lot of violent price action at these levels. So there is selling pressure, but it's very small and it continues to get smaller. It trends smaller and smaller. Okay, so that's the volume indicator. We're going to pair that with the MACD. So we're going to plot the MACD on the 30-minute just to kind of, we're looking at the 30-minute right now to get an idea of where we are headed. Okay, and we have a bearish trend on the 30. Don't let this paint a picture for the entire crypto scene. This is just the 30-minute chart, or what we would call in TA, technical analysis, we would call this the TF time frame. Okay, so we're starting to get a bigger, we're starting to get a more defined downtrend. These lines right here, they're kind of hard to see. Let me see if I can zoom them in for you. Yeah, there we go. All right. So hopefully you can see this, but they're spreading apart, and right now, currently, the information we have is that this downtrend is becoming more defined. At the same time, volume is lessening, so just kind of consolidating right now. Downwards candlestick action, bearish engulfing, and then continued downside. Really looking at the volume indicator to figure out how significant this is. Alright, let's turn on some technical indicators. Ichimoku cloud. Overhead resistance on the 30-minute is overhead, so not really indicative of this downwards price action right here. Okay, Ichimoku. Super trend. You guys love the super trend. I think, I don't know, I just turned on chat today on this stream. So sell right here is what it's saying on the 30-minute. That seems to be coinciding with our limited information. That's, yeah, it says sell and super trend. VPR support. According to, yeah, just if you have any questions, just ask. According to VPR support, where's the price action? The price action's right here. If anything, it would, you can kind of see it right here, we'll move it. So if anything, if the price action was to come up just a little bit, just with VPR, and then also with the Ichimoku cloud, there'd be a lot of resistance, and it'd probably continue to go down, trend is your friend until it ends. We would be looking for a breakout of the 30-minute pattern. Consolidation pattern would look something like this. Look at this. And this. And then we would have to see like a breakout, like the price action would have to come up here, lots of rejection, most likely the top of this trading channel, or I actually want to clean it up a little bit, and I want to draw it a little bit better. and we'll take a look at fibs in a second. Fib channel, it's not a fib channel. Oh yeah, you guys call it parallel channel. And I actually do like the way that these draw more than the way Binance's does. Alright, we're gonna come in here. Awesome. So what you have right here is a trading channel, downwards trading channel. Just so you guys can get a better idea, I'm going to turn these off really quick just because it might be a little difficult to see. And then the measured move for this, basically we don't even need to draw a measured move because as soon as we put on Ichimoku Cloud, you see that as soon as Bitcoin would have to raise above this channel right here, it would find a lot of resistance, especially like around this area as the price continues to move. So it'd most likely get rejected at the top of this trading channel and continue to move lower. This is again in the immediate short term. We're on the 30-minute time frame. BTC, ticker symbol BTC. We are going off of, okay, still says sell. On the super trend, not my opinion, well, not my entire opinion, just what it says. According to super trend, again, lots of overhead resistance. We have immediate overhead resistance with the EMA ribbon on the 30-minute. Taking a look at some Gorgie. These are the EMAs, exponential moving averages, all trending down with the price action. Bitcoin is looking a little bearish. Price action is below these moving averages. And right here we have a bearish moving average where the 100 crossed the 200. So bearish EMA cross just recently. Let's see. So that would be, this is the 30 minutes, this would be 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, or right here would be 2 hours, yeah. So about 2 hours ago, we had a cross, and then obviously you have this downside. 100 EMA crosses the 200 EMA, and we have some downside, and some continued downside, and that could be because of this bearish, extremely bearish engulfing candlestick. So like what I mean by that is we had this 100 cross below the 200, bearish or indicative of downside, and then you have this price action to play out that idea. And then because this was such a long candlestick, even though we saw the price action all the way back here that caused it, it's continued to be caused by these candlestick formations, which could be the idea that's playing out right now. Alright, MA, Bitcoin below the MA9, moving average on the 9-day moving average. The average of the last 9 days, Bitcoin is below that important moving average, that's bearish. And we have a bearish cross right here again. This is the MA50 and the 200. This is the 50, this is the 200. MA50 crossing below the 200, bearish for Bitcoin's price. This isn't recently, this is a 30-minute chart, so 30, 1 hour, 30, 2 hour, and then 30, 3 hour, 30, like about 3.5 hours ago approximately, we had this bearish cross, and then you see the downside that played out because of it. So I mean, these moving averages are important, and then basically like I said before, even though that was 3 hours ago and we did see the downside, we usually see corrections, but because we have this ginormous red candlestick, we usually see continued downside before a retracement back up. But if that is the case, lots of overhead resistance, and the trend is your friend, and recently the trend has been down. So for Bitcoin to come up hit some of these resistances that we're looking at. All the resistance, like look at it, no resistance on the bottom, it's already here. So for Bitcoin to hit these, and yeah, I like to highlight it because you can, let me zoom in a little bit so you can see more so Bitcoin's price action, and let me, yeah, there we go. Let me just, there you go. So you can kind of see all the resistance Bitcoin is facing right here in the immediate short term. And so for Bitcoin's price to move up a little bit at the top of this trading channel before moving lower, that's a huge possibility. If Bitcoin is to break out of this trading channel right here towards the downside, I'm going to measure that move for you. So what you do is you take the top to the bottom trading channel, put it right here, and then, yeah, put it right there. That would be the breakout area. You would see Bitcoin around 35,000 or 34,569. So if you remember earlier on the channel, there is a lot of macro. There's a lot of macro support. So like on the short term, we have a lot of overhead resistance. But on the longer time frames, which are more substantial, you have a lot of a lot of support to back up Bitcoin's price and move it higher. So continuing to come down in the immediate short term, maybe getting a bounce, moving higher, uh, getting a bounce like around these areas, maybe a little bit lower, coming up and then falling back down and finding support on those macro time frames. That would be most likely. So essentially consolidation, again, until those really big. And we can go on the daily right here. And let me take these off so you guys don't get distracted. I'll turn on super trend in a second, because I know it's fun to play with. Alright. So yeah, until we break out definitively, at least out of this consolidation pattern, let alone one of these ginormous trend lines, or one of these horizontal lines, which are necklines, that's really when we're going to see Bitcoin's price move. I'm going to go on to a little bit of a lower time frame. Then I'm going to go to BTCD, or I'm going to go to BTC.D and then DXY, because those are lead indicators, huge indicators for Bitcoin. If you're looking at just Bitcoin's price to figure out where Bitcoin's going, you are definitely doing it wrong. That's what anybody in the industry will tell you. That's not my opinion. Super trend. Super trend on the 15th is saying buy. Is it on the 30th saying sell? Yeah, in the immediate short term, it's saying that it's going to continue going up, kind of like the idea that we were talking about, and then, oh, it just flipped bearish, so it's saying sell now. Okay, so yeah, I continue downside on most time frames, it seems like, yeah. Even on the immediate short term, it's saying sell. You can't really see it says sell, but I can see this is a red line, and that's what that means. Again, this is the super trend. 30 minutes. Look at that. Or the 30-second, I mean. So yeah, it's saying everywhere. I'm gonna look at the trading channel right now. Crypto Zombie just put out an emergency video. Oh, Bitcoin's dropping. It's a lot easier to see right here on. Oh, okay. So on the 2 hour, we're gonna go 2 hour. 2 hour chart. Bitcoin has this head and shoulders right here that it's breaking out of. Measured move. The head and shoulders. This would essentially be the shoulder neckline that we'd be looking at. Essentially right here, which is all the way down to 32,000. We're still in all these different ascending patterns. Even if this does play out on the 2 hour, this head and shoulders, which you could say this is a, a top right here and then a small top right here, and we could measure that move. You can see that. Let me just repeat it one more time. So this would be a top right here, and then this would be another small top, and then essentially the neckline for that would be about right here. And since we have this trend line, we can just draw that real quick. So you take that right at the neckline, and 34,150 could possibly be playing out if this idea plays out. We would want to see, let's go to the 1 hour. We would want to see this close, which, yeah, I mean, there is confirmation on the 1 hour. So next we would want to see a 4 hour close, but that's a few hours away. So the next thing that I would look at before that 4 hour close is volume. Volume still low. Go to 30-minute. Volume still trending low. A little bit of a spike right here, but in the immediate short term, why is it only 45? Okay, 30-minute. Oh, so volume is starting to pick up a little bit. If this trend continues, and it's not just these two, it's all the way here. Let me draw it. Yeah, right there. Volume is starting to trend upwards on the 30 minutes. So if this does continue to play out and this volume does continue to increase, can see continued downside and this double top, which is kind of hard to see right here, but this could be playing out in the immediate short term because we did have this 1 hour candle close and volume is trending right now upwards a little bit. Doesn't matter whether it's red or green. What matters for one of these moves to play out is if this candlestick goes higher, that means an increase in volume. The red or green just means if it's bullish or bearish. Alright, let's see if there's any questions. Yeah, I don't see any questions. Go to 5 minute. They're saying sell on the 5 minute. So continued downside across all different time frames. Let me see. So yeah, if we pull up the MACD, it's probably going to be trending down MACD, but I want to see how definitive this. But yeah, see, like right here, it's saying on the MACD that we're starting to move back to negate this idea. So possible start to a reversal, and then yeah, the volume is very strong coming in, indicating a lot of buying pressure. Again, this is just on the 5 minute, not entire significance. But as this MACD starts to curve, as this blue line starts to curve, and as we see these white patterns, if this continues, these rectangles continue to get smaller, and volume like this continues to increase like it's doing in the green section, like this is nearly a hammer formation, indicating at least, you know what we're going to do is we need to pull out the Fibonacci retracement tool to really figure out, other than just looking at what we're looking at right now. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to clean up the charts a little bit. Okay, so we'll take this. We'll turn off the volume for it now. So we would go to Fibonacci retracement, which is right here. Swing high to swing low in the immediate short term. Oh, so we'd want to do it more on the macro time frames. Okay, yeah, that looks good. Fibonacci channel. No, that's not what we want. That's crazy. Oh, yeah, we don't want that. Fibonacci retracement. This is an excellent tool to predict price action and where the price is going. Okay, so I'm going to get to the daily chart. Mess with the y-axis a little bit, and then we want to line this up with the swing low to give us the most accurate chart readings. I'm going to zoom back in. I'm going to zoom in again right here. Very accurate, nice macro time frame Fibonacci retracement area. Alright. So this is the golden pocket right here. This is slightly below the golden pocket, and we're not, Bitcoin is just retracing, if anything, right here. There's nothing really substantial. We would have to take, let's see. So yeah, this is the golden pocket right here. We would have to go below this area right here, this line right here, to start looking at a possible trend reversal out of this, other than, like, I hope that makes sense. Like, this is an uptrend right here, and it's very big uptrend. And we did have sort of a blow off top or a local top right here, and we are consolidating right here. For us to not be consolidating anymore, or for us to start having an idea that maybe this was the top and we're starting to trend more so down, and this is more so of a reversal, we would need to start having the price at least bridge this area right here at the 34,870. If a measured move does bring it down there, that doesn't mean that we're getting reversed. I'm just saying, like, based off this Fibonacci retracement, which is going to be the most telling, I guess you could say, telling indicator right now, we would want to see a break of 34,814. This 0.5 Fibonacci retracement level is going to act as support, so we could come down, hit this area, and then bounce off of it. Very important area. on the charts. And on the macro time frames, it still says buy on Supertrend, according to Supertrend. I'm tired again. Alright, and then like I guess just to perpetuate that idea, like I was saying earlier, yeah, look at all that resistance. It's like perfectly lined up on the macro charts for resistance. So like I was saying earlier, you have all this resistance towards when we start heading lower to these possible measured move targets. Like if you were to say that this is a double top right here, and if we were to break this level, we would start to find a lot of support potentially in these levels on the macro time frames, which are substantial. Whereas when you see on the lower time frames, we start to see all this support turn into resistance on the lower time frames as Bitcoin was trending lower. So Bitcoin is trending lower, but all these macro time frames, it should find support somewhere in something like one of these moving averages, if that makes sense. It should if you've been in the space for a while or a decent amount of time. But basically, we have a lot of resistance for Bitcoin to get through on the daily chart, which is substantial if we were to see something like a correction. And we would want to go to the 4-hour, and we would want to see volume before. We don't see any significant volume on at least the 4-hour. We were starting to see it pick up, but as of currently, like nobody's gonna trade that. Like nobody really is gonna trade that. Like you might have some enthusiast. All right, we're starting to see the volume trend up a little bit on the hourly chart. So volume was trending up right here, and then it looked like it just fell off a cliff right here and is continuing down, at least on the 30-minute. Yeah, we see the same thing on the 15. Volume started to trend upwards. Let's see. And then it just fell off a cliff on the 15. Why are we looking at volume right now? If we don't have the volume, then we don't have the breakout. If we don't have the volume, we don't have a significant price move. 5-minute again fell off the cliff. We need to see volume come back. And then 1-minute, yeah, very low volume. 30 seconds still trending lower, could possibly be a reversal. But right now we're seeing lower volume on the 30-minute or on the 30-second. Still lower volume on the 15, possibly starting to negate that idea on the 15-second. This is kind of ridiculous, but you guys are watching live, so I suppose it's fine. And then 5-second, we're still low on volume. Possibly we could start to see an idea, but it would take a long time to get through all these different time frames to get that idea on the 4-hour, which is what most people are going to be trading. And then the 1-second chart, no volume. So, and yeah, we could start to, but we'll see. It all starts on the 1-second and moves up to the 4-hour. Alright. Let me see if I have any questions. Your screen is off. Oh shoot. Is it still off? I don't know why it says it's off because and I don't know what you mean by off. It should be on. Let me check on my and then tell me like if the volume's okay or what, but let me see on my side. Somebody said the screen is off. It's saying that on my end at least, it's showing that my screen is. Oh, okay. I know what you guys are saying. The price action screen. Okay, that's my bad. I have this scene right here. Let me switch scenes. Okay, sorry about that. Alright. Um, so this is what I had up. Yeah, I had the price action. Thank you for letting me know. I had this screen. I had Trading View up, like the premium Trading View the whole time up. But I guess you guys are just now seeing the charts. Alright, so let me just go back and give you a visual representation on what's going on with the charts, because, dang, I'm glad you guys called that out. Sorry that I have not been, what would you say? I'm very new to streaming, so I forgot I had that setting turned on, because that's how I ended, I think, one of my streams. Bummer, because we had some killer indicators on. Okay, so right here we have this idea of, let me just turn these off real quick and then I'll bring them back on and talk about them independently. I just don't want you guys to get distracted while I'm showing you guys the consolidation pattern. Alright, here we go. So we have this consolidation pattern right here, and then we have the necklines right here, and essentially right now we just have Bitcoin consolidating, which we've been talking about pretty much on the channel for the last 8 hours. I think I have like 8 hours at this point possibly streamed, and we've just been talking about this consolidation idea, which has been playing out. And it should continue to consolidate. Again, what I was talking about, now that you can finally see, thank you for commenting and letting me know. Um, Let me turn this off on my phone. Okay, so right here we have, and I'm going to move this so you can get a better idea. Right now we have a massive amount of support. This is VPR support. This is indicative of previous price action, EMA, so EMA ribbon. So this is exponential moving average, and then this is Ichimoku cloud, stuff like this. And we have a massive amount of support at these levels. If we were to go down, and then basically a summary of what happened if we go to like the 30-minute per se and we keep these charts up. Yeah, sorry. Thanks for letting me know that I had the wrong settings on the live stream, because that is, nobody wants to watch me just talk without the screen so nobody can see what I'm doing. Alright, so VPR support right here overhead, and then you have all the exact same. So basically what I'm saying is you kind of get a visual representation. On the higher time frames, like the daily, you have a lot of support in these lower areas. On the lower time frame, you have all the support um, right here. So what I was saying, the idea is that we could possibly be moving higher, find support levels at these areas right here. This is the trading channel right here that I was talking about earlier. And essentially what I did is I pulled out this channel right here. I pulled it out like this. Here, let me. It's my Telegram group. I'll look at that in a second, and then I just want to cover all this real quick. Okay, so you have this trading channel right here. This is obviously a downtrend. There you go. This is obviously a downtrend trading channel. And essentially what I was saying, the idea is that if we continue higher in the immediate short term, we would find resistance at these key resistance areas in the short term. Bounce, basically find resistance at the top of this channel and then continue lower. find support at those higher time frame resistances and basically continue to consolidate. There was a, let me get rid of this, trading channel. Alright. There was on the 2 hour some ideas that could possibly be playing out that I was talking about. I just want to go over those for a second. Let me get this taken out of the way again so you guys can focus on what's the patterns, the chart patterns, but then I was talking about volume a lot. Basically, we have a decrease in volume on all time frames, so until we see volume pick back up, we can't really say that there's going to be a massive breakout. So we'll take care of that. 2 hour. And then basically what I was saying is, you know, we have like a head and shoulders right here potentially breaking out. You could definitely put the neckline right here, and then you'd have this right here. You'd have to break this neckline down at 35,164, get a confirmation break, and then continue to see higher volume. And if that was the case, then Bitcoin could be heading down based off of this channel down to the measured move of approximately 34,153. Currently that's just an idea. Here's why I'm talking about it. Go to the 1 hour. We do have, if we go to the 1 hour, we do have this 1 hour close. We have this 1 hour close candlestick below the neckline, basically confirming it on the 1 hour. Like I said, I want to see it confirmed on the 4 hour to continue this downside towards the target of 34,150. If you do consider this a double top or head and shoulders on the 2 hour. Alright, let's see if there's anything else on these time frames, and then I'm going to go into BTCD, and then I'm going to just take a quick overlook on DXY because those are substantially important. Alright. Look at that, gorgeous. Like these price action that Bitcoin continuously gives us is just gorgeous. Like this is clearly a head and shoulders. Okay, so yeah, again you have this double top idea right here. This could definitely be a neckline right here. This is on the 1 hour. So we would want to see Bitcoin's price come down before potentially a double top like this would play out. Potentially, like I said, this could be a double top right here. We could continue to go lower. This would be a break of that, but it just depends on how the market sees it. And like I said, we would need to see a return in volume, which we're just not seeing right now, to have that formation play out. And then like I said before, a lot of the macro resistance is going to be met at these areas, so it would be very hard for Bitcoin, even if there is volume, even if there is confirmation on the 4 hour candle close, which is what we're looking for next. There's a lot of support to stop that price action from going down. Is there anything else? So, I mean, technically, if you draw, technically, depending on the way you draw a consolidation pattern, we might currently have a consolidation pattern broken to the downside. Let me just play out that idea for you real quick. So you would go to your trend line, you would draw, essentially this is like your anchor is what people call it in the crypto space. And then if it was like this, and then if it was like, and I'll adjust it as I get in. Okay. So essentially something like this kind of idea. This is a consolidation pattern right here. Yeah, so that's not bad. And then essentially if you have something like this, let me just make sure my touch points line up so that I can get a really accurate reading of what exactly we're looking at. Yeah, so this looks perfect. You got the, let me just zoom in a little bit. 1, 2, beautiful. So technically out of this consolidation pattern that we have right here, I'm going to get the measured move for it in a second. But depending on how you draw this, we do have this little on the 1 hour possible breakdown. So then what you would do is you would take this measured move that you drawn. I'll just go zoom in. Okay, so you would take this measured move right here, and then the price action broke out right here, so you would measure it right there, and then the continued, like the measured move towards the downside would be 32,496. And again, while that is a move to the downside, there is a lot of support, and these moves, just because of the lack of volume, have tended to not play out very well. So factor that in. Definitely keep an eye on volume. We need to see an increase in volume. We're kind of starting to see that on the hourly chart right now, but we would need to continue to see an increase in volume to have this idea play out, because there's a lot of support at these levels right here. Okay. Yeah. Ask me questions if you have any questions. I'm about to get off because I've covered pretty much most of the important stuff. Like, I don't know if I just covered it, I'm kind of tired, but if we do hit that measured move around the $32,000 area, we are still in consolidation. If you zoom out, that still brings us in consolidation. We'd still be in this consolidation pattern right here. We would just start moving towards the edge of it, and then we would probably, continue to consolidate up if we see it going down, up. So kind of, we have, when you get more advanced into the crypto and into crypto trading, you have what's called fractals, and fractals basically indicate that the moves continue to, like, if there's constantly like head and shoulders patterns, there's more likely going to be more head and shoulders patterns, or like the likelihood, like right here, this is kind of like a fractal. You have this one right here, head and shoulders, then you have this one right here, head and shoulders, and you kind of have this one right here, head and shoulders, and then you have this giant one right here on the hourly, shoulder, head, shoulder, kind of the fractal idea. So what I'm saying right now is, like, whenever there's W patterns, there's usually a lot of W patterns. So like right here we have a W pattern one right here. If you can see, that's the V right here. This is the V, and then it continues up. So W, then you have another W, you have another W, possibly another W. So if we continue to the downside, I'm not saying that anything, like, it would just be slightly to the downside of this uh, consolidation pattern we're in right now. Let me just pull up this super trend while I'm talking. So it would be to the downside to a small degree, then probably a bounce back up based off of fractal ideas, and we would continue to consolidate in this consolidation triangle until we broke out, and we would break out most likely after we get a spike in volume and a trend towards higher volume. Okay, I think I covered everything on those macro ideas of what we just covered on the micro. Bitcoin dominance. Alright, geez, yeah. I mean, we killed it. I mean, everybody in the space covered it, but I think I covered it first, which I'm really proud about. Bitcoin dominance continues to fall. Just absolutely gorgeous. Altcoins should continue to do well. I could cover Ethereum, I could cover other altcoins. Just tell me what you guys are interested in. Um, I'm only going to be covering large cap coins. I don't want this to turn into like me covering what's one like I have a few. I have a micro cap portfolio. I have like Ethereum yield. I probably shouldn't say all the stuff I have just because I don't really want to influence anybody. Ethereum yield has not been. I have Ethereum stake, Ethereum yield. Those are really low cappers. They haven't been performing tremendously, tremendously well. And more of the altcoins that you're going to see that are going to start to be performing a lot better are going to be, um, you're going to see the larger caps in the beginning start to perform better than the smaller cap altcoins. And so, and then I'll take a look at the DXY, the dollar index, because has a huge effect on Bitcoin. Also, that's the second chart for BTCD. Volume's pretty garbage on here. Got some overhead resistance on the Ichimoku cloud on the second chart. VPR is kind of hard to read. I'll zoom in a second. Looks like the EMA ribbons, and we have to zoom in to really get an idea of what's going on with these. But I love these indicators. Alright, so just give me 1 second to really pronounce what's going on right here. Yeah, so it just looks like a lot of overhead resistance for Bitcoin dominance, and it's going to continue to push the price lower. This is VPR support, and it looks like there's not really any on the bottom, so, or wait, what the heck? Is it loading? Maybe. I don't know, but it's already at this level, so it doesn't look like there's any more right here. So yeah, altcoins should do well, should continue to do well based off of these charts and the smaller time frames. Bitcoin should continue to, I mean, if all the money's flowing into altcoins, alternative coins to Bitcoin, then how is Bitcoin really going to do anything substantial, if that makes sense? If all the money is going into altcoins, there's not really enough money to flow into. Ask me questions like before I go. I'll answer anything real quick. I've been involved in crypto for a long time. I'm very involved in the community, so if you have any crypto questions. I also was in real estate. I did what's called the BRRRR strategy. I did stocks for a little bit and had a 400% ROI, return on investment, on that V-shaped recovery. And then I have a little over a 600% ROI, unleveraged on crypto. Or no, that's leveraged on crypto. Unleveraged about 300 or 400%. So if you guys have any questions, just let me know. Comment. I'll look for your questions. But it just looks like Bitcoin, if you want to know what's going on with Bitcoin, all the money seems to be flowing into these altcoins, alternative coins to Bitcoin, and because there's all the money is flowing into those coins, there's not going to be any longs or shorts like relatively to push the price either up or down. So it's going to continue to consolidate as most of the price momentum, volatility, is what we like to say in crypto, I suppose, is going to be moving towards these altcoins. So, I mean, if you're newer to crypto, the altcoins that usually tend to get the biggest gains first are the large caps. So large cap means large capital market capitalization. Basically, where the coins with the most money in them are the ones that tend to have. This is just the second chart, so but so those would be things like Ethereum, Chainlink. If you're wanting to possibly do some research, get more into the cryptocurrency, Chainlink, Ethereum, Yearn Finance, Stellar Lumens, Compound, that's decentralized finance, DeFi, Ethereum, Chainlink, and then you have the big boys. I have a few social media platforms that I talk on, and I spend a lot of time talking on Snapchat. I called Dot, which is Polkadot. I called that a while back. It's up 40%. I think it's a little over bought. Yeah, I think it's a little overbought. I think it's trading a little high. And you have VeChain and you have Cardano. So VeChain, Cardano, and Polkadot are some of the best. I'm not a financial advisor, so I legally cannot give you financial advice. I don't have those like they're like tech classes. Like you don't even go to college for that really. But I am very involved in crypto, so I'm talking to you guys as somebody that's very involved in crypto, not anything else. So just my opinions. So what we saw when Bitcoin dominance first started to drop earlier in the session, before this was back when Bitcoin was like around 30,000, consolidating. Maybe a few weeks ago, what we saw is Chainlink, Polkadot, and Cardano all were moving about the same. They all had about 150% returns. And my opinions on that were, wow, Cardano is trading with Chainlink. Chainlink's a little. Cardano is trying to be the blockchain of the internet. It has unlimited potential. And if there's anything you get away from this channel, it's that I'm extremely bullish on Cardano. So do your own research, but Cardano is definitely one of the best altcoins to be looking into. I've spent a lot of time in this space. And I don't know what it's up today. I'd have to go on my crypto.com account to look to see what's going on with Cardano. But like looking at like Chainlink, which is an Oracle, which is a decentralized Oracle application, they basically say that like Bitcoin is like digital gold because it's hard capped at 21 million, but obviously we know there's a lot less than 21 million because of a lot of different factors like all the Bitcoin has not been mined yet. A lot of people lose their keys. Cardano's up 20% today. I told you guys to get it last night. Um, I told you guys on my stream last night, I said long term Cardano's going up 25x. Cardano is one of the best performing cryptos today. On my Snapchat, I think 4 or 5 days ago at least, I told you guys to get it, and I think it's up almost 100% since then. It's up 120% on the month. Cardano is a phenomenal. What's it called? That guy. What's his name? Um, John Hopkins? No, it's not John Hopkins. It's something. What is that guy's name? He's the founder of Cardano. He's a Charles Hopkins. He's a smart guy. He's a really smart guy. He reminds me a lot of Bill Gates, and with um, I think of cryptocurrency as like the internet, like like it's so new, like what the internet was in the 90s is what blockchain technology is right now. It's so ridiculously misunderstood. It has such a ridiculous amount of potential. There's just so much, and it's just such in its infancy. Um, and so yeah, Cardano, Charles Hopkins reminds me a lot of Bill Gates. He even talks like Bill Gates. Um, I'm not really gonna say personal opinions, but Yeah, that's not really a personal opinion. All right, BTC, USD. Oh, I gotta look at the DXY. DXY. So yeah, I definitely keep an eye on. And so what I'm telling you is I'm just giving you good um, altcoins to look into. So Bitcoin they say is like digital gold because it's finite and anti-inflationary in nature. Then they say, well at least I say for sure that Ethereum and like different really good like Cardano, Polkadot, these all are staking. So since we covered the DXY, what is this? What's the time frame on here? The 1 minute. We want to go a little bit higher. We'll go to the 30 minute. Okay, so we have this long wick right here. I still have all my indicators on. I think they're below me. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Okay, so yeah, so I was just about to say that this long wick right here usually is indicative of further price action because why would it be a local top right here when it just opened bullish and we had this open right here and this is a bullish open, so this to me doesn't seem uh like a what's it called, a morning star. I forget the exact formation, but the opposite of a hammer. It doesn't seem like that seems to be the price. That seems to be. And if you don't know, right now we're on the 30 minute for the DXY, the dollar index. When people are putting their money into an asset like cryptocurrency, they want to know, should I hold dollars or should I hold crypto? And a lot of times this isn't really for retail. This is more so for institutions. Institutions have most of the money. Institutions are like hedge funds, whereas retail would be like you and me buying a little bit of Bitcoin, or your millionaire granddad or whoever. That would be retail, whereas institutions, which have a vast majority of the money, they're going to be looking at things like, should we keep cash on hand? And this right here, this chart is what's going to be their deciding factor to a degree. So it's very important. It's often called the lead indicator of especially the stock market. And like I talked about earlier with derivatives, a lot of the money just in general in the world, trillions of dollars are in the derivatives market. And when the stock market moves, the rest of the markets follow. That's just how it is. A lot of these hedge funds that own Bitcoin, if they have to sell stocks, if they have to buy stocks, a lot of that time they're selling Bitcoin and buying stocks or whatever. And so Bitcoin's price is affected. And what it used to be, but it doesn't seem to be entirely anymore, is that Bitcoin would tend to, if the S&P goes up, then Bitcoin would go up. This is how it used to be months ago. And then and it was called correlation. They were correlated. When Bitcoin's price would go, or when the S&P would go down, Bitcoin's price would go down. And S&P was a lead indicator, so it wasn't like if Bitcoin went down, then the S&P would go down. It was like if the S&P went down, then Bitcoin would go down. And now so more just the DXY is still something important, but we call Bitcoin like the honey badger. And so, you have bear markets, you have bull markets. A bear market means that price is going down. This is more of like a bull market, even though this is buying power. This isn't really price action, but if this was like a cryptocurrency, this would be, bullish. But we call Bitcoin, and then if it was to continue like just trading sideways, that would be a kangaroo market and normal financial markets. But we call Bitcoin the honey badger. So even if the DXY is say pumping, which would be bad for Bitcoin, um, we could still see Bitcoin break higher. The main thing that's keeping Bitcoin down right now is going to be the fact that a lot of the money is getting moved into altcoins. So if you're interested in cryptocurrency, you can either wait till altcoin season is over. You can take the loss of those potential gains. At the same time, I wouldn't say that that's necessarily a bad move because you don't want to FOMO. And finances, FOMO means fear of missing out. There, fear and greed pretty much move the cryptocurrency uh, community, or not the community, the price action of crypto, the crypto market in general. And you see this to the absolute extreme with Bitcoin. Bitcoin can have like some news in a bear market, and people think it's going to zero, and you can have like institutions buying heavy in Bitcoin, and everybody thinks it's going to 100,000 tomorrow. Now, obviously, you want to be rooted in the charts and the facts, and neither one of those are true. Bitcoin is it's not possible for Bitcoin to go to zero, just because the institutions and stuff that are buying it, they would have to take their wallets out, put it back on exchange. All the whales would have to put their money back on exchange. A lot of people that bought Bitcoin, like in 2017, they lost their wallet. That money can't get sold on exchange. So there's a lot of reasons why it can't just go to zero. And then there's also a lot of reasons why it can't just go to 100,000. You'd have to find like another, I don't know what Bitcoin's market cap is, but it's like, what is it like? It was when I was like newer into like trading specifically. Like I started leverage trading heavily. I've traded over 300,000 in the last 3 months and really been involved with Bitcoin. Whereas I was just more of an enthusiast just buying it. Um, it was like around 200 billion. I think it's more close to 400 billion at this point. So you'd have to find another 400 billion dollars to, and I trade all those 300,000 in profits, crazy. But you'd have to find another 400 billion dollars. So you'd basically have to find like a Bill Gates and a Warren Buffett entire net worth and put it into crypto. I'm not saying it's not possible, but most people don't even have that much cash on hand. Like, you have to understand that just because Bill Gates has a $100 billion net worth, a lot of that money is not into. Ask me questions if you're um, want anything specifically to hear about. But Bill Gates doesn't have like 100,000 or $100 billion in cash. A lot of that was in like Microsoft and stuff like that. Like Warren Buffett, like a lot of that money that he has, he doesn't really have. It's part of his company, Berkshire Hathaway, and he would have to sell that company, and obviously nobody can buy that company because unless uh, Bill Gates or like Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk was buying it off of them. But even if that is the case, they don't even have that capital because like you heard Bill Gates is like Elon Musk is the richest man right now. A lot of his money's tied down into Tesla. A lot of his money's tied down, so nobody really has 100 billion to just throw around. So that's the short-term answer to why Bitcoin's not going to $100,000 a coin tomorrow, and why it's not going to $0 tomorrow. So DXY, this this area right here could be indicative of further price action up. Again, if this number goes higher, if the DXY goes higher, bad for Bitcoin. If it goes lower, good for Bitcoin. But because Bitcoin's what we call a honey badger, I'm just looking at my trading group right now to see exactly what they're saying if I'm missing anything. There's 4,000 members in this trading group, so they're usually pretty. One guy says bullish divergence on the 1 hour chart. So basically that means that's good for Bitcoin on the 1 hour chart. And another guy says potentially. Let me take a look. His chart is really sloppy. Like his chart, I don't know if you guys can see it, but his chart is really sloppy, so it's hard to tell. I don't know exactly what even he's looking at because that's not the MACD. It looks like he's possibly looking at the lines of the MACD. Yeah, it's just a really sloppy. I don't know. So, potential. I'm gonna go with that guy. I'm gonna say potential bullish divergence on the 1 hour. Again, because I just don't have the Bitcoin chart immediately pulled up because we're looking at the DXY. We already know what's going on with Bitcoin. We already know that it's possibly just broken out of a consolidation pattern. It's heading down, but we need to see more volume we need to see more volume on the charts before we can really get any confirmations. And like I said, a 4 hour candle close bearish. Like if we continue to hold those levels or go lower and we get a 4 hour candle close, then yes, that is more of a confirmation. But we do want to continue to see that uptrend in volume. More volume, more volume, more volume. We don't get that volume, then how is Bitcoin's price going to move if there's no one to push it? You know what I'm saying? So, and like I said before, Bitcoin dominance just keeps moving lower and lower and lower. So if all the money's flowing into altcoins, and all the money's going into altcoins, where Bitcoin's not going to have any money to move around, so people aren't going to be shorting it, people aren't going to be longing it. There's just going to be a lack of interest. And this is all retail, by the way, so this is really important. I'm going to take a look at the CME futures gap. This is actually probably the most important right here. CME BTC. 1 second. CME. I don't know. We'll find it. But so my point is this. Today is Sunday, I believe. Let me just double check, but I'm pretty sure it's Sunday today. And so no institutions. Oh, it's Saturday. Okay, right? Saturday. So if it's Saturday today, that means that there's no institutions trading. The only people that are trading these markets in Bitcoin right now are retail. And retail kind of does whatever they want to do, where as institutions, they tend to be more direct and more, sometimes there's manipulation by these bigger guys, but essentially, I like the way that who's that guy? Martini Daily, I believe. He has like 100,000 or 90,000 followers on YouTube. He's a crypto guy, and what he says is that CME. This is really important. Probably the most important chart we can look at on Bitcoin right now. Okay, so what he says is it's basically like the kids taking the car for the weekend. Like, so you have the institutions which operate from Monday to Friday, regular business hours. And then on the weekend, the hedge funds, the institutions, they take the time off along with the stock market, all that stuff closes. But Bitcoin is open 24/7 trading. And so retail is the only one moving the price action during that time. And so it's like these little kids driving their parents' car on the weekend. Like, it gets a little crazy. And it's like, what are you doing? Until the parents basically take control of that wheel again on Monday. So that's how that Martini guy, which is a big Bitcoin YouTuber, describes it. Is this just a fake screen? Like, is this just nothing? So I'm trying to look for CME futures gap to see if there is one, but I guess what we can do is we can just go to the price action, just go to BTC. I just clicked on you guys, you don't even show it. Y'all don't even show it. Alright. to turn all this off so that you guys can see what we're looking at. So essentially what I'm looking for is if there's a CME gap, because if there is a CME gap, then it could potentially get filled. Oh yeah, gorgeous. So it looks like we closed this gap right here. Come Monday. Is this a gap? There's a gap all the way down here that needs to get filled. And let me just talk about this for a second if you're newer to cryptocurrency. Basically, a CME futures gap basically is like I said. We have the institutions, and they basically dictate the price action, and then whenever they close, whenever the institutions are no longer in charge, the price action continues to go on the weekend, and then come Monday, they try and bring the price back. They try and take control of the steering wheel, essentially, if we're going off that metaphor that Martini guy uses, and we see a return back to where the price was previously. And while we haven't seen this gap, well, this gap is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, almost 10 days old right here, about 10 days old. This gap, they tend to get filled. We had a gap a long time ago, back, it was probably like 5 months ago. We had a gap at 98. It was probably longer than that. Time flies. We had a gap at 9,800, and that one didn't get filled, but these tend to get filled. We've had gaps all over the place, and they tend to get filled. So come around Monday, if we were to see maybe a correction down to this $30,000 level, that would still be in our consolidation patterns, and we could see that as the potential bottom, like nearly worst case scenario, get the gap filled, come back up, trade sideways, break out bullish, and then head to 53,000, which would be the measured move out of a potential double bottom. We have another gap here at the 23,400-ish range, but Bitcoin's just so bullish. I don't know if we could make it that low. There's probably so many buy orders stacked up. That's just what you have to understand. Like, is we can look at the technicals all day long, and the technicals can tell us one thing, but if we're looking at the technicals, but then if the fundamentals are that there's a massive amount of buy orders stacked up, then we have to go off of, like, if the price comes down, there's only so much selling pressure, and the buy orders will drive the price up, if that makes sense. So if we come down, there's probably so many sell orders stacked around these areas, people trying to get Bitcoin at these prices, that all of the selling pressure is just going to be quickly bought back up, if that makes sense. So it's important to understand fundamentals. It's also important to understand technicals. So even if the technicals are saying that right now we're breaking out of this consolidation pattern on a smaller time frame, and we measure the move, and we go down to, what was it? It was around the $32,000 area. We could still see it bounce easily and continue higher. Or, we could not. But until we break 27,600, we're not going to see a substantial move to the downside. And right now we still are setting constantly, except for this immediate short term, we're setting a low, higher low, higher low, higher low, extremely bullish. Even though you have these dips which might seem scary to you guys, it's still bullish, because this is a low, but then this is a higher low, this is a higher low, but then This is a high. What we would want to see is a higher high. As soon as this price action, this price action, which is the highest point in Bitcoin right now, a local top, as soon as that gets broken and we establish a higher high, Bitcoin's price always tends to explode again. To confirm that, look at volume, look to see what the market sentiment is, and we're probably not going to see anything like that until altcoin season is over. So, continuing to tread lower towards these consolidation patterns before finding support and then bridging a little bit higher as we have this altcoin season seems to be the most likely scenario. ETH and then a break to, yeah, I love Bybit, but we're not going to go on Bybit's chart. We'll go on Coinbase. Dang, Ethereum is only 12,600? That's nuts. Isn't Bitcoin dominance continuing to fall? BTCD. Everybody in the space says that Ethereum's so undervalued. Yeah, what the heck, Ethereum? Ethereum should be popping off. ETH, USD, not financial advice, just what the heck, ETH? What are you doing? Let me go over ETH's chart just for a second. And people are like, oh, really? ETH's chart's supposed to be popping off. Tell me more. Please do go over this chart. Alright, it's just Bitcoin dominance is falling, which is good for altcoins, no doubt. And then Ethereum is heavily undervalued because it hasn't even reached. There's a lot of potential with Ethereum that we just haven't seen yet. Like as far as the price action, like there was a measured move. We should have already been to like around 1300. All right. So we don't have a double top right here. We have a triple top. Literally, neckline, breaks, measured move. We come back, find support, long wick reversal. It's on the hourly. And it looks like we broke all trend lines for this double top, possibly triple top. Like I said, fractals, they happen. I talked about that earlier. So there's a triple top right here, triple top right here. What do we expect to happen? Well, we expect to have the measured move, so about like this candlestick down, and it looks like that's already starting to happen right here. Oh my gosh, I might have to long some ETH around here, or not financial advice, obviously I'm pretending, but but I would have to long some ETH right here, once we get this measured move. Let me get this measured move real quick. Trend line, dude, have this right here, this right here. Neckline about right here. So yeah, around 11,040, around 11,050. According to this, 11,044, around that area seems to be where this double top, triple top could be playing out. Now people are probably buying the crap out of this ETH. Same idea with Bitcoin. Let's turn on some technical indicators and see. Ichimoku cloud. So we would find support before we hit that on the Ichimoku. Super trend is saying buy. I might have to possibly open up some positions on some Bybit. Alright. Super trend, VPR, lots of overhead resistance, less so coming down. EMA ribbon, lots of resistance, but it looks like it's nearly broken all of that resistance. and turned it into nearly support. So now to backtrack, you'd have to go through all this resistance, and at this point, it looks like it's going to continue going to that downside. This is all now resistance. This was support, now turned into resistance. Okay, EMA, potential bounce at these levels, 11,080, 1186, 1154. And remember, these are moving averages, so they tend to trend higher. Guess I can leave them on. And then MA. Where is this MA? Oh, it should be right here. So Bitcoin's bearish on that metric on the MA 9. I have to check to see if there's a cross. There's a cross right here. Bitcoin could Ethereum could find support right here on this MA50 moving average of the last 50 days, which is just $1 below where it's trading at right now. So 1207. If Bitcoin dominance continues to tread lower, you would essentially right here have a top, or you'd have a bottom right here. You would essentially have a bottom right here, and then if this was to correct and go higher, you would essentially have a triple bottom, or a very, another way of looking at it would be, is there a drawing tool that I can use? Yeah, right here. Paintbrush. So essentially, you would have this bottom right here. You would have this bottom right here, and then, or you could this draws like this, so you'd have this bottom right here, you would have this bottom right here, so you can kind of see the two bottoms, and then a continued move up. That's an arrow. It's way easier to draw in Bybit when I, but yeah, so you have this bottom right here. Jeez, and then you have this bottom right here, and then a continued move up would be a double bottom. Oh my gosh, that's terrible. How do I erase all this? Is there an eraser? Jeez, guys, where's the eraser? What are you doing? Alright, well, while I'm cleaning this up, those are the two ideas. We either have a triple bottom playing out or a triple top. I'm gonna move to a different time frame. Hopefully these delete. Nope, they don't delete. Can I, why is that? Use the selector tool. Oh, here's an eraser. Yeah, just erase all this. There you go. Alright, so let me just draw out the game plan really quick before we go on ETH. Horizontal, and then I'll use closing thoughts on Bitcoin. Horizontal line, draw it. There we go. Cross, there we go. So essentially, this is like a little head and shoulders right here. Possible breakout would be like right here. Triple top that we were talking about earlier. We have one top, we have another top, we have another top. Neckline would be about right here, or like I said before, right here. And Ethereum has broken the neckline, but what we want to see is on the hourly chart, we want to see an hourly candlestick close below this line to confirm it, and then let's check out volume. Yeah, we would need to see an increase in volume return. I can't say that anybody's really taking profits on Ethereum because it's hardly up, if any, on the day. And so why volume wouldn't return to play out these moves, it doesn't really make sense why it wouldn't. I'm sure a massive amount of people are interested in Ethereum right now. Breaking this neckline right here at 1276 would be huge for Bitcoin, or for Ethereum to have that. Let me just draw it one more time. Let me get now that I know what I'm expecting, let me see. Is there a way to, I want to make the line bigger, thicker, yeah, there you go. And then, wait, let's make it white so it's easier to see. Okay, so you have this bottom right here, and then you have this bottom, and then if the price was to continue to go up, you would have right here, this is a double bottom, so this is the first bottom, this is the second bottom, and then that is indicative of a bullish pattern towards the upside of what we would be anticipating, approximately measuring from the neckline. Approximately at least, let me zoom in a little bit. At least 1352. Let me see, do you guys have any questions? Ask me questions if you have a question. It's saying warning on here for some reason. I'm not sure why it's saying warning. But I only have one thing on here. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I don't know what this warning is. And then I'm going to go to Bitcoin's price. Please check video resolution. The current resolution is not an option. Oh, it's not optimal. Okay, well, we want the best resolution, so I don't know what to tell you, Bitcoin. Or YouTube Studio. Why would I change the resolution lower? I guess so it doesn't lag as much. Tell me if it's lagging too much and you would prefer lower resolution, but we have good Wi-Fi, so I'm not sure why if it would be lagging. Okay, so going back to Bitcoin, this idea, closing thoughts, continue to consolidate. Possibly we could go as low as 32,000 in the immediate short term. Do not panic because there's nothing to panic about. Yeah, on the hourly chart, super trend is saying sell. Four-hour chart, super trend is saying sell. But watch this, we go to the daily, things change. That's a buy signal. So short term, yeah, we could see some downwards action. That's fine. We're still in this major consolidation pattern and that's not changing. So let's take out super trend, VPR, and we've already been over VPR so many times, so you guys get the sentiment. On the lower time frame, all the VPR is going to be all the resistance is going to be right here on the lower time frames, and then on the higher time frames we're going to have a massive amount of support, which are more substantial. So yes, we're going to, I guess I can move this so you guys can see the price action. So yes, we are going to possibly trend lower, which is what it looks like. Consolidating, I mean, keep an eye on the volume, guys. We're seeing a little bit of volume increase from what we saw earlier, but it's nothing. It needs to trend higher. But this is basically, if anything, just indicative of, we have this three, you guys probably know it already if you've been watching the streams. Three black crows pattern, which is bearish on the 1 hour, but and we have the volume basically coinciding with this bearish pattern. So yeah, expect a little bit, especially if this closes. This isn't closing yet, but if this closes on this pattern, yeah, it's bearish in the short term, but we're going to find support on these macro, and I guess I can show you guys that real quick. Not that I haven't already, but if somebody's newer to the stream or something, let me just turn all these on. Yeah, okay. So yeah, I mean we're trending downwards, that's fine. We're gonna find support on these levels, so no need to worry. And that's on the daily. We go to something like the 12-hour. Again, these lines are gonna be a little bit closer. This Ichimochi cloud's gonna be a little bit closer to the price action. And yeah, I mean we could go down very easily. There's not a lot of VPR support. Like we could go to like 34,000, like 34,400 ish, a little bit below there before we really start running into any sort of problems whatsoever. That's fine. We'll find support wherever it is, and we're still in this consolidation pattern. So I want you guys to think more macro than anything. That it doesn't really mean anything. The only thing that if the price action does come down here, let me go more towards the hourly chart. Yeah, we would need to see that $32,000 area. We see that $32,000 area, possibly we're breaking out of this symmetrical triangle, that's fine. Okay, still we need to break this neckline before anything massively substantial. So even if we break this 32,000, is this 32? Yeah, this is around 32,000. So a little bit higher than 32,000, 32,200. If we break that and we go lower, we want to see two things to continue to see downside. We want to see an increase in volume, and we want to see a confirmation on the 1 hour chart, on the 1 hour candle, and a 4 hour candle. So what I'm saying is if price action does come down all the way to here, if it breaks through all the different support levels, which is possible, I mean, we do have this pattern right here, which is we just broke out of this consolidation triangle right here, in the more micro time frames, and the measured move for that was around 32,000. So if we have this move that comes down to around 32,000 right here, and if this is a longer candle wick, like the idea that we were talking about earlier, because if there's a giant bearish candlestick, that could push the price down ever so slightly below this before it ends up getting a big wick back up. Really, the only thing that should make you nervous is if you don't want the negative price action or whatever, like if you're looking for negative price action, if we start to come down into this area, to continue to see downside, we would want to go on the hourly chart. We would want to see a close of one of these candlesticks below, on the hourly chart to start out with, below 32,200, around 32,000 ish. And then we would want to see, the next thing, that if that happens, we would go to the 4 hour chart, see if that's going to close below this level, to really get confirmation. And again, volume is extremely important, because if we start going below this line and there's a lot of volume and you have a trade open, or you're looking at the charts, we could see continued downside. But the name of the game is this. Until this price right here gets broken at 27,600, Bitcoin is still, we have a low, higher low, higher low, higher low. It's still in an uptrend on this consolidation pattern. It is consolidating, but we're constantly setting higher lows, which is bullish, and we will not stop continuing setting higher lows until this area is broken. But then if this area does get broken, then that also plays out this shoulder, head, and then this shoulder right here. And that would be, around 24,000 to $18,000 price target if that was to play out. But even if that is the case, like even if we do break 27,000, which I'm not 20,600, which I'm not saying is going to happen, then there's so much buying pressure from limit orders that like if it's like nearly impossible for us to go to like 18,000, or it's like nearly impossible for us to go to like uh 24,000 would is possible but unlikely, but we would be going there slowly because as soon as the price drops to these levels, there's going to be so many limit orders, so many limit buys that it's going to jack the price up. All right, so I'm going to be streaming. There's nothing really for me to go over. Like I'm telling you exactly how it is. And I watch all these guys that have 200,000, 100,000 subs, and I'm saying the same thing as them before they're even saying it. We're the most underrated channel on YouTube. So if you're interested in Bitcoin, Bitcoin's price action, if you like the fact that I stream a lot, I think I've streamed 6 hours today, something along those lines. Um, if you like that and you want to continue seeing me stream constantly Bitcoin's price, I will do that. I have, all these different indicators. I'm possibly looking at getting Market Cipher, like I said. So hit the subscribe button if you're at all interested in Bitcoin's price action. I'm going to be going over it every single day, 2 to 3 times a day, depending on the day. And depending on what's going on with Bitcoin, if there's some real in price action involvement, I'll stream for as long as I'll drink an energy drink. I'll eat my lunch or dinner while I'm streaming if it's really important price action. So we're the most underrated channel. We have uh, Trading View Premium, which is the best software, and I have an incredibly strong track record, not only just on YouTube, but on all my other social media platforms. Um, so, if any of that sounds interested to you, and I am very involved in crypto, so if you have any questions, thank you, bro. I really appreciate it. I really do feel like we're like the most underrated. Like, if you're interested in anything other than Bitcoin, I heavily urge you to look into Cardano. Cardano, ticker symbol ADA. Cardano is extremely, it's so it has so much potential, and just the fact that it has so much potential, and just because of the way that like there's so much money flowing into this space right now through institutions like Fidelity, JP Morgan, Citibank, all these different major institutions are pouring money into this space, and Bitcoin's going on the stock market next year. There's just so much money flowing into cryptocurrency. They want to do a exchange, like an ETF for crypto. So they want to do like all the different like like the top 10 cryptocurrencies, which Cardano is part of, and they want to put that into a basket and basically sell it on the stock exchange, kind of like an S&P 500, kind of like an index fund. And so Cardano's price is pretty much protected. I think it's number 6 right now in the cryptocurrency spots. And it just has so much potential. Right now we're getting towards Goguen, which is programmable logic. It's basically doing the same thing Ethereum's doing. The problem with Ethereum is Ethereum has extremely high gas fees, which if you don't know about it, do your own research. But Cardano solves a lot of the issues that Ethereum has. Ethereum is a generation 2 cryptocurrency. Bitcoin is a generation 1 cryptocurrency. So Bitcoin came out in 2009. It's a generation 1 cryptocurrency. Ethereum came out in 2014. It's a generation 2. Cardano is generation 3, and this is all technology. So the newer the technology, sometimes the better. And like, I'm not saying that Bitcoin's bad. I'm not saying Ethereum's bad, but ADA solved a lot of Cardano solved a lot of problems that Ethereum has, and a lot of people, programmers, want to be onto the Cardano network. And as soon as that Goguen stage 3 launches and is successful, And already Cardano has been performing extremely well. So I mean, look into Cardano if you're interested. VeChain, Chainlink. These are very big cryptos. Polkadot's an incredible platform. I just had a hard time staking on there, and it costs so much right now. Like it's up 40%. But let me see what else, because I hold a lot of these coins and they're just insane. Let's see. A lot of people like Algorand. But make sure you're looking at the high market cap, because that's where all the money's going to be flowing into. The money's not going to be flowing into these lower cap coins. A lot of people liked Aave. Aave's a little bit more higher market cap. Let me go to crypto.com. Yeah, Polkadot. Graph's up. Graph was in a falling knife formation. Chainlink, Ethereum, Cardano. Ripple, I would stay away from. Stellar's okay. Might be taking some of Ripple's, or XRP is the same thing. That's just the ticker symbol. EOS, like I said earlier, that tends to perform well as BTCD drops. But I just don't like the fundamentals of it. Tezos, a lot of people like Tezos because you can stake it right on what is it? Coinbase. Cosmos, I love Cosmos. It just pumped recently, which is good for Cosmos. Up 9% today. Beautiful. Um, VeChain finally cooling off. VeChain might be an interesting um, thing to look into. And staking on VeChain's pretty easy. The wallet's just a little more difficult to set up. Make sure you spend the time to figure out how to do that if that's what you're gonna do. If you're a beginner, just leaving it on exchange instead of getting like 5% like staking rewards on it is probably the best thing to do. Same thing with maybe like Ethereum. If you don't really know what you're doing, it would probably be better just to leave your Ethereum on exchange than and like learn how to stake it than potentially try and bring it to a third party and lose it, trying to transact it over until you learn how to um, transact it properly, like how to move it from different wallets. Yeah, those are more of the higher market cap coins that you're going to be wanting to look into. Um, this channel, ADA, most underrated coin, could possibly take Bitcoin's number one spot. Maybe not this bull market, maybe not this bull cycle, but in 40 years from now, absolutely. I'm going to be streaming again tomorrow. Please sub if you're at all interested. If you have any questions that are just burning, like just hit me in the comments right now and I can just answer them really quickly. But I'm gonna be streaming again. My phone or my laptop's about to die, so I'm gonna be streaming again tomorrow. Um, Probably around 9 o'clock. Probably around 8 or 9 o'clock. Right now for me, it's 12 o'clock. Um, and so I'm gonna be streaming again tomorrow around 8 or 9 o'clock, and and then I'm gonna be streaming again tomorrow night. So if you're at all interested, uh, definitely hit me up. Have an amazing night, guys. Cryptocurrency is doing great. Nothing to worry about. Consolidation. There's a big move coming. Regardless of whether that's up or down, we're still in a uh, uptrend and until that's broken. All right, guys. Have an amazing night.